Welcome back to Flying Magazine's first virtual event. I am Craig Fuller, the new owner of Flying Magazine. Really excited to be here with Glenn Gonzalez. He's the founder and CEO of Jetit. Glenn, tell us a little bit about Jetit.
Yeah, so thanks so much for having us, Craig. This is exciting to be part of this first virtual flying event. Jetit, we are what we call a hybrid fractional ownership program. We exclusively operate the HondaJets as it stands to date. We are providing a regional service across the country with owners in all four corners of the country and everywhere in between. Our owners fly for $1,600 an hour, and we are a days-based solution. Days-based meaning that it's your airplane for the day. What we found in building our model is more times than not, people are looking for access to a private jet, but they don't want to have a need for buying the whole airplane. And what makes it even better above the $1,600 an hour and the days-based solution is for a large portion of your audience, those individuals who are looking to fly the airplane themselves. We've got a Red Jet Squadron where if you're willing to get typed and can maintain your medical, you can fly next to one of our captains and be as involved or not as much as you like in flying your own private jet without having to buy the whole airplane.
So how does that work? You've got, if you're a pilot, if you've got the hours, if you have the medical, you have to get type certified in order to fly the HondaJet?
You do. You have to be either a PIC or an SIC in the airplane. There are different metrics for what someone needs in order to be qualified. Obviously, we need you to have a multi-engine rating of some sort. But above and beyond that, we get you trained in the airplane. You can do that in the aircraft. You can do that in the simulator with flight safety. And then from there, you tell us when you need the airplane to show up. It shows up with one of our captains, and we go flying. It's ideally set up to kind of like my time and experience flying F-15s in the Air Force. We're very much focused on having a great time, our love of aviation, but we also want to get better and fly comfortably and safely with each flight.
Now you're flying with one of your captains that's a part of Jetit, right? So it's not me flying myself. It's basically I have someone there to help me along my flight who does it professionally.
Absolutely. Not all pilots are created equally. Some of us have more experience than others. That said, we want to make sure that you are getting the best training that you need. We want to make sure that we protect the asset at all times for the next owner that wants to use it the next day, whether that's a crewed flight or another Red Jet Squadron flight. And the insurance markets are so tight right now. So offering an airplane that needs to be utilized to the rest of the marketplace, it makes it tough to not have someone there with you. But we choose our flight crew focused on personality first. They are the face of our company. So it's guaranteed that you'll have someone enjoyable to fly with.
So I think it's really important when you think about the safety element. I'm a pilot. I don't have a huge amount of hours, but this is attractive to me because I want to fly my family around and still want to be safe. So there's a pilot there with me that's certified for the plane. I'm also getting time and the ability to fly it, the opportunity to fly it. It sounds like a really attractive option for someone who perhaps isn't a full-time pilot.
Yeah, it's been a great tool. My good longtime friend Cyrus Agari of Jet Aviva and now Up Partners. He says life is short, fly a jet. And so that's kind of how we view the Red Jet Squadron. It's an opportunity to fly your own jet. And at $1,600 an hour without a need to buy the whole airplane, it's great to be able to log that time, gain the experience, and it really serves as a platform for people gaining the knowledge and experience to maybe eventually buy your own jet in the future or just to continue with Jetit long term.
Now, you guys handle the maintenance. You also manage the aircraft to make sure it's ready to fly. So basically, as a pilot, all you're doing is getting in the plane.
Absolutely. And if you want to do more, other than pulling the airplane in and out of your hangar, we can include you in that. But when it comes to maintenance, aircraft management, insurance, and any of the things that happen behind the scenes, we take care of all of those things. We want it to be as seamless as a process as possible. If you want a full dispatch package and trip packet from our dispatch team, we can provide that. But if you just want to show up, hop in the airplane and go fly, we've got our captain there with you to make sure that everything goes comfortably. And you can be as involved or as much or as little as you desire.
Now, I think it's perfect for someone like myself who's, again, not a professional, wants to fly my family, but also wants the safety and comfort of knowing someone's there to help me out. Tell us a little bit more. You guys, how big is the fleet today?
Yeah, so we've got 15 airplanes in our fleet today. One of the value added items of those 15, 13 of them are in the United States. We're expecting six more from Honda this year, as well as one larger, longer range airplane. But above and beyond that, we have an airplane in Canada, we have an airplane in Europe, and we've extended our operations into those environments. So if you are one of our Red Jet Squadron pilots or just one of our Jet owners, when you're in those environments, you can fly and have a consistent experience in either of those environments. So maybe you take Delta or Emirates to a foreign country, and when you're there, you've got Jet and Jet Club, our sister company run by my co-founder, in operation. You've got a HondaJet there waiting on you to fly you from Paris to Milan, or to fly you from Vancouver to Montreal or Calgary, whatever the case may be. So it changes the whole experience of being in a foreign country. And that's just value added for being associated with Jet.
Now, why HondaJet? Why did you guys choose the HondaJet as the aircraft of choice?
Yeah, great question, Craig. I've been flying for over 20 years, flown F-15s. I flew for Gulfstream. And so I've seen the both ends of the spectrum: opulence at Gulfstream, performance in the F-15. The HondaJet's a great middle ground. It has a great refined experience in the cabin. It's spacious, it's quiet. You can carry tons of baggage. And it's a comfortable and reliable asset from an aircraft standpoint. But on the performance side, it does have great performance. You have a light jet, sub 13,000 pound aircraft that you can fly from New York to South Florida, and you can do so consistently, especially with the Elite S. So the HondaJet, it was a great platform that covers what most people need. I need to fly with three people, maybe four, and I need to be able to go 2 hours, 2.5 hours in distance without a stop. The HondaJet does that mission better than any other airplane. It's incredibly efficient, and you get a great cabin experience associated with the ability to fly it, like with our Red Jet Squadron.
Now, I have kids that are always wanting to stay connected to the internet. These planes also come with Wi-Fi.
Every single jetted aircraft has Wi-Fi. It's just part of life today. Whether it's trying to get some business done in the cabin, or checking the weather, to get some more information beyond what's available on XM, or it's just an easy platform, and it's a necessity in life these days. So every airplane comes with Wi-Fi. That's included in the monthly expenses of our program, and it's very simple and seamless transition.
Yeah, for my teenage kids, they would absolutely love that. That's an important element to their life because it doesn't matter where they're at; they want to be connected. Unfortunately, that's just the world they live in. Glenn, let's talk a little bit about what's happening this year. You guys are a relatively young company, but you've had a really sort of spectacular level of growth. Talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the market and where that's headed.
Yeah, our start process was very much focused on the human behavior, the natural evolution of transportation. What I mean by that is, if you have the ability to have more autonomy, more efficiency in how you travel, it's inevitable that you're going to move in that direction. In the case of Jedit, we can provide that level of autonomy and efficiency to more people at a $1,600 an hour price point. For that reason, so many people have been very interested in what we're doing above and beyond our Red Jet Squadron. But take that and now couple it with the COVID environment, where you have so many people who are focused on, not only do I want and desire more autonomy and efficiency, but I have to have more safety for my family, for my business partners, for my colleagues. I need certainty in those environments, and having a closed fleet solution with a company that you can trust, like Jedit, with a reliable platform like the HondaJet, it really does make for a perfect storm for tremendous business. We've had to tell people that if you don't get in soon, we won't have inventory, and we're not alone in that. The entire industry is up and is incredibly busy, but we're excited that our premise of the autonomy and efficiency being a necessity for travelers and the entire industry moving in that direction has proven true.
Now, how are the supply chain issues impacting your business today?
It really is tough. We've got airplanes that are going in and out of scheduled and unscheduled maintenance. Parts are tough. We've got a number of airplanes that we're waiting on from Honda as they are working through some of their supplier issues. As I mentioned, 6 more airplanes this year. Several of those we should have had by now. But we do trust our manufacturer. We do trust Honda and Mr. Fujino to provide us with a great platform and to make sure that we have the safe, reliable product that we all know as Honda. And so we're happily waiting on those aircraft. But the constraints have put a strain on our business because we're waiting on those additional airplanes. But when they come, we'll be ready and we'll get those airplanes folded into our operations immediately thereafter.
Now, it's putting a strain on everybody's business. I don't think you guys are alone, and certainly not as we talk to the aircraft manufacturers. Everyone's seeing a lot of struggling to get access to new airplanes and roll them off the assembly line. When you think about where you guys have been as a business from last year, what COVID felt like in 2020 to what we look like going into next year, do you think private aviation is something that is sort of finding a renaissance, or is this are we going to go back to the days where private aviation is considered a luxury and not a necessity?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of elements that we think about as related to jet, part of that natural evolution of transportation. It's here to stay. We have a tremendous opportunity in our industry to capture and retain these customers that are new to our space. People want consistency, they want clarity, and they want certainty. And with our closed fleet solution, we can provide all of those things. But the bigger piece to all of that is, if we can keep people happy, if we can make sure that we're operating safely and within compliance, the market will respond. And just like years past, you've had people would take trains, and it was the best experience where everyone else was maybe in a horse and carriage trying to cross the country. Those people who could afford it were in trains. Those people who first started flying on commercial aircraft, they were in commercial aircraft because they could afford it. The same natural evolution is taking place now in private aviation, and it's up to us within the industry, all of the players, to make sure that we are capturing the hearts and minds of those individuals who are trying us for the first time, but knowing that this is inevitable. It has to happen this way because of that need for autonomy and efficiency. I personally believe that it's here to stay, and we're all reliant upon our manufacturers to continue to provide us with higher technologies, improved business models that we have to bring about. And the confluence of all of those things with the market need is why Jetted exists, and other companies will soon follow suit.
Now, imagine your model of having one type of aircraft type enables you to have far more efficiency because effectively what, as a consumer or as a member of your organization, I know what kind of plane is going to show up. But I also manage, from you running the business from a maintenance standpoint, from a supply chain standpoint, that gives you a little bit more predictability or a lot more operational efficiency than otherwise would exist.
Absolutely. There's a risk and a reward associated with that. Southwest Airlines has been operating only Boeing 737s for decades now. That comes with great economies of scale as related to training, maintenance, operational predictability, relationships with the FAA. But on the flip side of that, when the MAX had its challenges and those airplanes weren't delivered to Southwest, it created a number of waves within their business. Just the same with us, with just the HondaJet, we are at risk. We are the longest operating and largest fleet of HondaJets in the world. Fortunately, we've got a great partner in Honda Aircraft Company, not partner from a business sense, but partner from a supplier standpoint. They've been a great vendor. They've been wonderful at supporting the aircraft, but we're moving more towards a JetBlue type mindset, where you have both an Airbus 321 and Embraer 175. We recognize that there's another need that our customers have told us about. So breaking news for you in this recording, We are bringing about a fleet of G150s, Gulfstream G150s, to support our customers who need more range or need more seats. Our owners in the past, we've had to off-fleet them, and the service experience hasn't been the same, or the cabin experience hasn't been the same. So we are bringing on a little more variability in exchange for additional value for our owners, to give them that cross-country solution, to give them that ability to fly with their entire family, from grandparents and 3 generations down. So it's a tremendous value add with little risk to jet it, but it provides more for our owners at the same service level and price point that they're familiar with.
Now, Glenn, is the Red Jet Squadron available for the G150s, or is that something that is not possible?
It is not something that's feasible as it stands to date. It requires a significant amount of experience for that aircraft. I'm typed in the airplane. It's a beautiful machine. It's very easy to fly, a lot of fun to fly, especially hand flying. But we're going to keep the Red Jet Squadron to our HondaJet owners as it stands today.
Which is probably the majority of flying. You're going to do most of it within a 2 to 3 hour radius of home versus doing something that's much longer range or with the entire family.
Exactly. And that's the primary crux of our business. We want to make sure that if that's your need, we're not interested in the individual who wants a G150 to fly back and forth across the country. Our primary customer is the HondaJet user. So we will have those airplanes to fill that 20% need when you need to fly with more passengers or fly further across the country without a stop. We're there for you. We don't want to have to share that service with someone who may not provide the same experience that we do. So by bringing the G150, we can fill that 20% of the void while still providing our primary service, which is the HondaJet. Honda just announced the HondaJet 2600. In our mind, the G150 is a little bit more capable than that platform, but we'll have a great way to integrate a seamless integration of the 2600 if we become the launch customer for that platform. So we're excited about being prepared for tomorrow, but also providing exceptional service today.
Yeah, that's a beautiful aircraft. We got the opportunity to cover it when it was released at the NBAA conference last week. It's a beautiful. I love the paint scheme. I like the sort of retro camo. I don't know what they call that, but it's a really cool paint scheme. Glenn, what possessed you, or what inspired you, I should say, to start Jet-It? You got Ian Wise Entrepreneur of the Year for the Southeast. Tell me a little bit about how you decided to start this business. What really inspired you to do it?
Yeah, it was the type A personality as a salesman. Gosh, I really want to be successful as a salesman, and I was doing well. I was selling HondaJets, but the customers in the market kept screaming, "Glenn, I love this airplane, but I just don't want to buy a whole aircraft. Can you help me find a partner?" Or can you help me find an aircraft management company to help me offset my cost of ownership? When you hear that 80% of the time, eventually, it took me a while, but eventually I kind of woke up and said, there's something here. And my co-founder and I spent the better part of 2 years working on a business model. And that business model was Jet-It. That was the response to the market's request of, this is a great platform. It's perfect for my needs. 2.7 passengers, 2 hours or less, but I don't need it for 365 days out of the year. I only need it for one trip a month, 25 days a year, 55 days a year. And that's where Jet-It came about.
Yeah, it's an awesome option to add to your fleet, even if you have smaller aircraft that maybe you fly local, fly for fun. Being a part of the Red Jet Squadron enables you to actually go a little bit further and a little bit safer. It's for someone like myself, who, my wife would never let me pile all the kids in a plane. I love knowing that I have the opportunity to fly the aircraft without actually having to be the only pilot in charge. I'm not ready for that. So, Glenn, really enjoyed it. Congratulations on the success, and best of luck next year. I got to ask you one last question. You can't say the HondaJet. If you could own any aircraft, what would it be?
If I can own any airplane, and I'm going to have to step outside of corporate and business aviation, it would be the F-15. I mean, the experience of power and control and performance, the most nimble but powerful airplane. I think people look at ballerinas as extremely strong and powerful, but graceful and nimble. The F-15 is kind of both ends of the spectrum of strength and power, but grace and elegance all at the same time. It's a beautiful machine, and I wish I had one at my hands right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Glenn, really appreciate your time. Best of luck, and thanks for coming to be a part of this event today.
This is awesome, Craig. Thank you so much for having me. Look forward to sharing with you guys further.